One of the best ways to relieve neck pain and get rid of tension in your neck is with neck traction or cervical decompression. I'm Dr. Jared, and in this video, I want to show you 4 great ways that you can decompress your neck at home and start to feel better fast. Traction or decompression is basically applying a vertical force through your neck to create some space and to create some separation between your vertebrae. Or said another way, we're going to lift your head up to alleviate the tension or decompress your neck. This works great for a variety of conditions that exist in the neck, but there are 2 things that I need you to remember. First, we need to try to keep this very comfortable. There should be no pain associated with this. You need to try to keep your neck nice and relaxed as I'm showing you these methods. And then second, I don't want there to be any increase in your pain. If you get into one of these positions or try one of these techniques and it causes more pain in your neck, that's a sign that we're maybe going the wrong way. I would advise you to give that technique up. And then the last thing that I want to mention is there's a part on your skull that we're going to be dealing with. So as you take your hands and put it to the back of your head, right here on your hairline, you'll feel kind of 2 spheres or 2 bony prominences right there on the back of your head. That is the area that we want to hook with these different traction techniques. That's where we're going to apply our force in order to apply that traction in and through our neck. So keep that in mind. That's about where I want you to grab. Okay, so technique number 1 is probably one of my favorite because it's so easy, 0 equipment required. You can do it anytime, anywhere. What I want you to do is with one hand, make a fist, put your thumb down, and then we're gonna put that thumb or the top of the first knuckle, the knuckle from your forefinger, right here on top of your sternum. Your chin goes down on your pinky knuckle. So it creates kind of this mechanical block between your sternum and your chin. Now what we're going to do is basically use that point of contact as a lever. With my other hand, I come to the back of my head, and then I'm going to apply an upward force with this hand. So again, we're going to hook right at the base of the skull, hook the back of the head, and then you're going to pull upwards with that. Your head is going to want to nod, but because your hand is here in place, it's actually creating a fulcrum, it's creating a lever where we can actually decompress your neck and decompress your vertebrae. And that should feel really good. Now, with this, I would recommend, usually what we start with is about a 10 to 15 second hold, but if you can, if it feels good and if you have the strength, you can hold this for even 30, 45, 60 seconds. So just keep in mind that as we apply that force, we want it to be very comfortable, and then coming down out of it, we want that to be comfortable as well. So it might be something that you kind of build your way into. If that feels good, the technique that I personally like would be with a towel. What we're going to do with a towel is fold it in half and then kind of drape it around your head, and we're going to hook those 2 bony prominences with the bottom of that towel. Again, that's where I'm going to be applying my traction force. That's what we want to pull on. Now with my hands, what I can do is pull right up here towards the ceiling until we get just a good, comfortable traction force. This one could be done seated, it could be done standing. I actually prefer to do this seated in a chair with a nice back on it. Again, the goal is to promote as much relaxation as possible. If I have something supporting my back, I can instantly turn off a lot of my trunk and core muscles to get into this. People tend to find it maybe a little more effective. You can play with both, see what works the best for you. But once again, I'm going to hook right around the base of my skull. Then with my hands, I can kind of pull at different angles. I can pull up this way, I can pull straight up. I can even use this to kind of pull at different angles to try and bias maybe the right side or the left side to see what feels best for you. Once again, same parameters apply on this. I'd hold that for about 10 to 15 seconds, and then you can repeat that 3 to 5 times. But really, you can do this even longer periods of time. Just ease your way into it. Don't try to do too much too soon. That's kind of the only caveat that I'd give with this. Technique number 3 is another one of my favorites. What we need to do is kneel down. Usually the bed is a little soft, and honestly, my treatment table right here, the surface might be a little low. Your kitchen counter is usually a good surface if it's not too high. Your kitchen table is a good surface. Basically, we want something that's about chest height that then we can support our arms on while we're doing this traction technique. What we're going to do is with my hands, I'm going to use this part of my palm, so kind of the hook, the U-shaped bottom part of my palm is going to hook right on one of those bony prominences on both sides of my head. That's what I'm going to use to apply this traction force. You're going to kneel down at the surface. Again, mine's a little bit low, but I want your entire upper arm supported in front of you. Now I'm going to bend my elbows and then hook, again, right on that area. There we go, just like that. And then what I'm going to do is with my arms try to extend at my elbows, so I'm actually pushing my head up and in that direction right there. And a lot of times this is where we'll start with people, and they'll kind of settle into that and say, oh yeah, that does feel good. I can really feel that traction. That feels nice. Again, the goal is to keep it comfortable, and if that's where we need to stay, then stay there, because that's what is going to be good for you. But if you want a little bit more, what I like to do, the next progression to this, would be hook those areas one more time, get into that position. I'm going to push up with my hands, but then I can also sit back and down kind of with my butt. I'm trying to sit down onto my heels while my hands are pushing up towards the ceiling. And so it looks just like that. And that's going to enhance that stretch even further. And again, what we're looking for is I want this to feel good. I want this to relieve your symptoms. And especially, this is one that I like to use if you have like stenosis or a bulged disc or even arm symptoms with this. As you do this, you should notice those arm symptoms and shoulder symptoms kind of creep up into your arm and up in towards your neck and start to disappear. It feels really good, right? Same parameters apply. Start with about 10 to 15 seconds. With this one, you know, people can typically hold this position a lot longer than trying to pull manually. And so they can get into this for a little bit longer, you know, about that 30 to 60 second mark. And then you can repeat that 2 or 3 times. Okay, the last one that I've got for you is we're going to bring the towel back. Again, this is, I kind of like this one just because like I feel like I have maybe a little more control over it. It's maybe a little more comfortable. That one with your hands, like I don't love the way that feels, but you might, so play around with that for sure. With the towel, we're going to hook the lower part of the head one more time. The upper arm is going to relax again right on the surface. And now with my hands, I'm pushing up in that direction. I'd kind of tuck my chin down a little bit. I don't want you to extend through your head and look up at the ceiling. So actually even look down kind of at the counter or the table in front of you. And now with my hands, I'm pushing up in that direction until I get a good comfortable stretch. That's kind of your starting point. If you can, and if you want to, you can take it even a step further by trying to sit down onto those heels. And so we're working on extension through the upper back. We've got this nice traction force up towards the ceiling to decompress the neck. Feels really good. And once again, you can kind of bias this a little bit. I can kind of, you know, tilt my head one way. I can rotate my head one way. I can get into more flexion. I can tuck my chin down. I can raise my chin up slightly. What you want to do is just kind of find that sweet spot. Find the area that it feels the best to you. And then that's where we're going to hold for, again, about 10 to 15 seconds. Repeat that 3 times. Work up to 30 to 60 seconds. Repeated 3 times as well. If you need more help with your neck, I've got great videos here on Tone and Tighten to help you out. Check those out right here. Subscribe to my channel by clicking this circle. I hope this helps you out, and I hope to see you again soon.